Today we're going to talk about how to get ready for boot camp, physically, mentally, all the things. My name's Dave. I was a Marine Corps recruiter for 3 years. During that time, I enlisted 53 people. And the only one who did not make it through recruit training was because they found out at boot camp they had scoliosis and there was nothing we could do about it. On top of that, I had quite a few honor graduates, whether for fitness, being the guide, including one who was both the Ironman, highest PFT at Marine Corps boot camp, and the company honor graduate for guide for boot camp. 2 and 1. So all that being said, I was good at helping prepare my poolies to become recruits, to become Marines. Had a lot of success with that. So we're going to dive in right now. Now, the very first piece of this puzzle is obviously the physical preparedness. Now, your recruiter should be able to handle this, and I'm going to just tell you what's expected for you to do when you graduate from boot camp, right? These are to get out of boot camp. And I'm just going to read it off this list because I don't have all the other branches memorized. From the Army, you need to be able to do a 2-mile run, push-ups and sit-ups. For the Navy, 1.5-mile run, curl-ups and push-ups. The Air Force, 1.5-mile run, sit-ups and push-ups. The Marine Corps is a 3-mile run, pull-ups, and now they're doing planks. And then the Coast Guard, 1.5-mile run, push-ups and sit-ups. So that is to graduate. Now, they all have their own timelines as far as how fast you have to run that. But to get to training is not as intense. For example, for the Marine Corps, you need to be able to run 1.5 miles in, I think it's 12.5 minutes for a man and 13.5 minutes for a female. Do 3 pull-ups as a man, and I think it's 2 as a female. That might have changed, so don't quote me on that. Again, your recruiter will know. And you have to be able to hold a plank for a minute. Admittedly, that's not incredibly hard when you consider what you have to do on the other side, but here's the thing. We all know that boot camp is going to be physically demanding. And as long as you meet those minimums, you will be okay. If you just don't quit. Because at boot camp, you're going to eat right, you're going to work out a ton, and you can't help but get in better shape. I lost 30 or 40 pounds at boot camp, and I got there doing 20 pull-ups. And I left doing 30 plus pull-ups. And I got there running, my 1.5 miles in whatever time, and I left running like a 21-minute 3-mile. I was not the stud, not the top of my class, but I held my own and I did just fine. I was never worried about the physical part of this because as long as you just don't quit, you can't help but get into better shape throughout boot camp. That's how it's designed. 2.5 to 3 months of just working out, eating right, sleeping well, all the things to get you to a spot where you will pass the physical. People focus on the physical because they're like, oh my God, boot camp's going to be hard. And it is. You should focus on it. But that's not what gets you. What gets you is the mental and emotional side that you're not preparing for because you didn't think it was going to be an issue. You're like, I'm fine, I'm tough, whatever. And that's what sneaks up and gets you. So here's my advice for the physical part. Run, pull up, push up, crunches, basic calisthenics stuff. You don't need to be slinging a bunch of heavy weights. If you want to swim, that's great. It's good cardio, but running, and honestly, you don't have to go and run like 10 miles a day like some people would say. Just do high intensity interval workouts. Do sprints, do calisthenics. So, maybe you go run like 2 miles and every quarter mile you drop and do 25 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, whatever. Maybe you just do like half a lap sprints on a track where you run the straightaway, walk the corner, run the straightaway, walk the corner, or you run the straight, however you want to change that up. You can do 100-yard sprints, you can do quarter-mile sprints, you can do half-mile sprints, and then you just break it up to where you're getting slowly faster and steadier, whatever. Your recruiter can help you with that. I'm not worried about it. Also, if, and they should, your recruiter holds any kind of group physical fitness thing, go to that because it'll teach you the way that that branch of service works out. It'll teach you the language of how those people work out. It'll also get you around other people in your group. So you're working out in like a competitive environment with other people training to go do the same thing you are. And that's going to be the type of stuff specifically designed to help get you there. So go to whatever training your recruiter has and then work out on your own, and you'll be fine on the physical side. Oh, and pro tip, it might be worth getting used to working out in the morning because you're going to wake up early at recruit training, so you might as well just get in the habit of waking up, right? Okay, now for the mindset piece, for the mental piece, right? In the Marine Corps, we have this phrase, embrace the suck. And that's basically it. It's going to suck. You need to get ready to it's going to suck. Right? So for the physical side, we do this thing called the IT session, which is incentive training. And it's basically like you get slayed. They'll be like, push up, go, push, 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 jumping jacks. They call them side straddle hops, but pushing, jumping jacks. Okay, good. Mountain climbers, and you're doing mountain climbers, and they just you just move. It's like just a high intensity interval training till you're dripping in sweat. But that is not much. I put it in this side because it's more of a mental thing where you're like, oh my God, I'm just getting with, and it's never going to end. And half the time it's because someone else screwed up. Like the first time I ever got IT'd, it was because my rack mate had a seizure and they needed the bed for like when the EMTs showed up or whatever. And so they were like, who's his rack mate? I'm like, this recruit. And they're like, get up here. And I was just doing like push-ups and stuff while the paramedics were in his bed, like looking him over. Ridiculous, right? True story. So anyway, all that being said, it's the mental stuff that messes with you in that. Now, a couple of things you can do to make your mental side easier, right? One is learn everything you need to learn for boot camp. So for the Marine Corps, that is your 11 general orders. That's your 13 leadership traits, which the acronym is JJ, JID, tie, buckle: judgment, justice, decisiveness, initiative, dependability, tact, integrity, endurance, bearing, and selflessness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, and enthusiasm. Then you're going to want to learn your general orders, your rank structure. The earlier you learn, I would say at least sergeant, staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant, because those are going to be your drill instructors. They're going to be sergeants, staff sergeants, and gunnery sergeants. So you have to know that, even though really you're just going to say sir, right, for the entire time. But you want to know that. You're going to want to know the whole rank structure. You're going to want to know the basic leadership stuff, the motto, Semper Fi, honor, courage, commitment, all those things for your branch of service. And your recruiter should give you a knowledge packet that you can look through to help you with this. I still have the binder that has Pere on a piece of medical tape down the middle and all the stuff that I needed to memorize while at recruit training. I mean, we're talking dates of history, battles, important people in the Marine Corps history. Now, every branch is going to be different as far as what they want you to learn. And your recruiter, again, should give you all this information. Actually learn it. And the reason is you will learn all that stuff at recruit training. Yes. If you know it all ahead of time, it is one less thing you have to be stressed out about trying to do at recruit training. So if you're in shape, you have all your knowledge down, then basically all you got to worry about is the emotional side, which is way easier to regulate than if you're like the fat kid who's dying physically while you didn't study anything. So you're trying to memorize everything while you're dealing with all your emotions. You're also going to want to learn like basic terminology stuff. So Marine Corps, we learn a lot of Navy stuff like bulkhead, which is a wall, scuttlebutt, which is a water fountain, like just a bunch of random stuff that you're like, who cares, right? But you're going to need to learn a bunch of that stuff. Some of it matters, some of it doesn't. You can learn the basics of drill, even better. But just knowing the basics of all the information will help you out mentally while you're at recruit training. Now, on the emotional side, really, you just need to be able to understand, like, it's all a game. Everything the drill instructors are doing is a game. They have timelines. They have to be at places. And if they're running early, they're going to with you to kill time. So they'll be like, run that way, run back, go touch that thing. Okay, now go touch that thing. Whatever. Everybody do push-ups. They're going to yell at you and make it seem like you screwed stuff up. And you're going to be like, what did I screw up? And then eventually you're going to realize like, we were just early and they got to kill time. And rather than being like, everybody just stand there and hang out at the position of parade rest or the position of attention, they're going to be like, screw with you here, screw with you there. Like, they want to keep you on your toes. And that's just the game, right? So it's all a game. Likewise, if you're running late to something, they're going to move you really fast. You're going to be like jogging in formation. You're going to be like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? We've never jogged in formation. Oh, we were late. So there's all these timelines and rules and things. And you'll see drill instructors, at least the Marine Corps, like pulling off their campaign cover and looking at their schedule. They got to stay on schedule. So they'll do their thing. So just know it's a game. Don't take anything personal at recruit training. None of it's personal. It's all there to break you down, build you back up in the spirit of your branch of service. The other thing with the emotional side, and obviously this ties into logistics side and getting ready for boot camp, but don't give your address to people that you don't trust. Meaning, like, don't give your address to people who will screw with you and send you stupid letters at boot camp, and give your address to people you want to hear from and tell them, I want to hear from you. And then write them, take all their addresses down, send them a letter and tell them up front, like, hey, it would mean a lot to me if you wrote me letters while I'm at recruit training, because it'll mean a lot to you to get letters from people. And if you communicate that ahead of time, then you're much more likely to get those letters, especially if you start, you write a letter to them first, then they're going to get it and be like, oh, damn, I got to write him a letter because he told me it would mean a lot if I wrote him a letter, right? And so you should set yourself up for that. When we talk logistics for getting ready for boot camp, make sure you bring all the necessary crap. Your recruiter is going to make sure you have your birth cert, your social security card, your driver's license, all the things. I don't think you actually need your birth cert. I think you need your social and your driver's license. But they will tell you everything you need to have ahead of time, and then they will make sure you have it before you go to recruit training. And then don't bring a bunch of extra crap. Don't bring knives or rounds from like shotguns from the last time you went hunting. Like, check your bag. Don't bring a bunch of extra crap. Don't bring contraband. Definitely don't bring any drugs or firearms or weapons. Just none of that crap, because it's all not good. Bring only what you were told to bring. For all our applicants, we told them to wear like slacks or jeans and a polo and like running like tennis shoes that you are okay with being in all day, because you probably won't sleep the first 24 hours you're at recruit training. You're doing all the admin processing and in processing and all this crap all night long. You're gonna be on your feet a ton. You're gonna be running all over the place. Bring comfortable closed-toed, tennis shoes. I would say like a pair of like Lululemon ABC 5-pocket pants are super comfortable. They look clean. They're slacks, but they're like, you can move around in them. Whatever your recruiter tells you, just prepare logistics wise. Don't have contraband, don't bring a bunch of extra crap, and make sure you're not missing anything. All of that missing things like your social or your driver's license and having, a knife or whatever are all things that can be showstoppers. So just avoid it. Just make sure you have a packing list to pack all your crap. You're going to want to have bank account information for where you want your direct deposit to go, because you're going to start getting paid while you're at boot camp. I would recommend that you have your own so that other people can't tap into that unless you're like married and supporting a family. Also, you should manage your bills. You should use the Service Member Civil Relief Act, the SCRA. Go tell all your banks and everyone, hey, I'm doing this thing. Here's the Service Member Civil Relief Act. Here's my documents showing that I am enlisted. I'm going on this date, and they'll have to reduce your interest rate to 6% on all your debts that you had prior to the military, which is huge. So make sure you do that. That'll save you a ton of money. Also, when you're going to boot camp, most like cell phone companies like AT&T or all these companies, even sometimes car payments, like all this stuff, you can pause for like 3 months, your payments. And so like on a car loan, if it's a 60-month car loan, they would just add those 3 months on. So you wouldn't have to play catch up on it all. It would be 60 months turns into 63 months. When you get back, you start paying again. You can also do that on deployment for a lot of these. Now, not every company is going to do it. They're not all obligated to, but like for sure, you can pause your cell phone. You can, hopefully you can delay payments on some of this stuff so you don't have to worry about it, right? And if that's not the case, then make sure you have automatic payments set up so that stuff is paying while you're at recruit training, because you're not going to be able to worry about it. And the last thing you want to do is be gone for 13 weeks and have a missed payment that hits your credit because you just weren't thinking about it. So make sure you have all that basic stuff set up. Bonus tip here, figure out who's going to boot camp at the same time you are. A lot of times there are people from your station going on the same week. Get to know them. Seeing a friendly face will be beneficial to you that first week or two. You may not get a whole lot of time to talk. You may not get to see each other talk much at all. If you get really close, like in the Marine Corps, you can do the buddy system, and that means you'll be in the same platoon through recruit training and even through MCT or ITB, depending, up until MOS school, as long as you can. And that's good, because then you have a friendly face, as long as you guys get along, all right? So get to know people, because you might very well get to hang out with these people from your hometown while you're there, which will help with that emotional, mental side, because you've got some people going through the same stuff, and you guys can talk it through and help each other out and all that. So see if you can figure out who's going to boot camp, the same week as you. And if there's no one, see who's going like the week before and the week after, because you're probably still going to cross paths with them on occasion, though probably not very often. But it's good, right? It never hurts, especially during like the summer months when all the kids who just graduated high school are shipping out. There's a good chance you'll have 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 kids all going on the same week. So you might as well get to know them all and hang out and set realistic expectations for yourself. Like, this is going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. You're going to be fine. You're going to make it through it as long as you don't quit, but it isn't going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be challenging. So make sure you're learning all this stuff. Make sure you're getting serious. Make sure you're getting in shape. Like, this is a big life transition. The better you can prepare for it, the better you're going to be set up for success, the smoother recruit training is going to be. And honestly, my goal is that you watch this video, you do all these things, you come back from boot camp and you comment on the video and you're like, that was a joke. Yeah, because you prepared. But it's not a joke. If you suck at everything, you're going to be the guy who gets shit on all the time. Not fun. But like me, I actually so fun fact, my drill instructor, senior drill instructor at the time, Staff Sergeant Angulo, now it might be Sergeant Major now. He was, the next time I saw him, I was his last cycle as a recruit, as a drill instructor. So we graduated in 2008. In 2017 at MWSD 24 in Hawaii, he showed up as my replacement at a unit. And I was a staff sergeant. He was a gunnery sergeant. Now, a year later, he was a first sergeant. I'm pretty sure he's a sergeant major now. But he replaced me. He was in my MOS. He was a motor T guy too. And so senior drill instructor, Angulo, who I saw as a staff sergeant. I saw him again as a gunnery sergeant. Then I saw him get promoted to first sergeant. And then, he's probably a sergeant major now. Was just a stand-up guy. But he didn't remember me. Now, I told him a story about something that happened at recruit training, and he remembered that, so that kind of connected the dots for him. But he didn't remember me, which means I did well. I slid under the radar, right? If your drill instructors remember you for all of eternity, it's because you were a problem child. Or maybe it's because you were the guide, and you were the best guy there, and you guys won, whatever. But There's one person they'll remember for being great, and there's probably 25, 30 people they'll remember for being shitheads. And so don't be the shithead. Just make your life easy, get in shape, learn the things you need to learn, prep yourself emotionally, set up your bank account, do all the logistic stuff. It's really not that complicated. But it is, you know, you want to pay a little bit of attention to it, or you're going to just get thrown to the wolves and have to figure it out. And once you're at boot camp, there's legitimately nothing else to do but be present. You're not going to be on your phone. I mean, I guess some people are on their phone one day a week now, but you're not going to be on your phone. You're not going to be on the internet. You're not going to be calling your bank. You're not going to be doing all those bullshit. Like, you need to be set up before you leave. One last thing I want to point out is on like day one of boot camp, you're going to be asked to set up your thrift savings plan, your TSP. So go watch some of the videos I've got on it. I've got a few of them on how to set it up and how to use your TSP. Get a basic understanding because you want to be putting some money in there. Honestly, I would say 10 or 20% you should put in there, because if you're putting money in there on day one, you'll never see it missing from your paycheck. So it doesn't even feel like you're missing. You'll have a slightly smaller paycheck, but it won't feel like a bad thing because you never knew that you were supposed to get a higher paycheck, and the money will just be going into your retirement on autopilot. So definitely read my book. I'll leave a QR code here. Download that before you go. It's everything I wish I'd known before I joined the military. You guys can get it, download it for free. Read that. Read the section on the TSP and how to set it up and kind of what funds to choose and all that, because you're going to set all that up on day one or maybe day two, right? In that first week of in-processing. And so having the opportunity to get ahead of that puts you 3 months ahead, but also makes it psychologically easier to start because you never saw the higher paycheck. So I definitely recommend you do that. So check out some of my playlists, read my book, whatever. Like everything in life, as I say in the military, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So just set up a little bit of a plan. Talk to your recruiter and ask what they recommend. They'll give you all the resources. Then do what they recommend. You will be fine. You'll make it through boot camp as long as you don't quit. It's going to be a little bit emotional. It's going to be a little bit challenging. It's going to be a little bit mental. It's going to be all the things. But millions of people have done this before you, and you'll be okay as long as you put in the prep work. So I look forward to hearing from you when you get back from boot camp. You're like, holy shit, that was easy. Thanks, Dave. And then follow along, jump in our free Facebook group and all the things. Get connected in the community. We want to help you all get off on the right foot, have a smooth career in the military, and set yourself up for financial freedom after. Love you guys. Subscribe. Have a great day.